everyone, and welcome once again to Goth Tarot, my weekly look for the collective into the shadow issues of our life. And as recently promised, I have decided to update or change my format and include a few new elements that give us maybe a different kind of sense or insight into what's going on with our darker sides, our darker feelings this week. So I'm very proud to announce that I will be using my newer deck, The Murder of the Crows. It's a wonderful deck. It has a lot of nuance. I think it fits the picture. So what we are going to do is change the format slightly. Some of the cards are going to stay and or their meaning. A couple new ones will be introduced. And of course, I always have the option to going back to the other format. Okay, so let's get started then. And first we are dealing with what I call the dark design. And the dark design is the overall focus or environment or quality of this week, the essence of energies that are roaming around you. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that wonderful Murder of Crows deck and shuffle it up here. It's one of those big decks, so it does present a problem for my semi-arthritic fingers. But let's try it. Half-hearted. I might just have to do what I can do here with the good old hand over hand shuffle. What is the dark design for this week? The Star. And it's upright. So the Star is about things that seem hopeful, things that change plans and bring a little bit of light into the darkness. I like the crow on the branch overhead of the figure who is pouring the cups there. Now what we are going to do is use the Murder Crow's special cards. There are two special cards. And our first one, we're going to use the 20-sided dice. And if we get an even number, then it represents the crow dusk. And if it gets an odd number, it's the crow of dawn. And what that means is this the beginning or the ending? The crow dusk or the crow dawn? And I apply that to the star. So here we go. Number 12. So that's even. So it's the crow of dusk. This is the ending of a matter. And so what that means is that this idea of inspiration and hope, or the sense of a destiny waiting for you, a dark or a bright one, is really something that is now moving towards completion. It may be that you have created all the momentum and worked all the plans and situations that could possibly lead you towards that moment. But now that moment is here, or that moment has passed, is passing. You have achieved that, or you are moving away from it at any point. How does this affect you? For that, we use the other special cards, the Crow Mother or the Crow Father. And of course, once again, if it's even, it's the mother, and therefore that means the effects are more psychological. And if it's the father, then the effects are more physical. So we're going to roll that. I'm going to roll it again because it didn't look like a really good roll there. And it's number 2, so another even number. So therefore, it's the Crow Mother. This revelation, this passing of the idea of the destiny unfolding, will affect you psychologically. You may be able to bring all of those qualities within yourself to maintain them or to put them further into rejuvenation, to bring them back as needed. This is a card of destiny, the Star. And so although it says that that idea is ending, it has affected you deeply, very deeply. You wish to maintain this kind of momentum or situation that's going on with such momentous destiny that you feel there. So good luck with that, my gothy friend. All right. So now, having reflected on that, what the dark design is for this week, how will this haunt you? How will this feel to you in this next week too, as some sort of constant reminder or feeling that comes to you almost from another source? To seek that, we are going to use the Goth Tarot. How does the idea of this inspiration ending, how does it haunt you in the future? Besides the idea of how it affected you psychologically, what are the implications going ahead? How will this reverberate and stay with you? Possibly not for good, because most hauntings are not necessarily good. It's kind of like the forbearance of grief, mostly. All right. So we have the King of Swords. The mighty King of Swords is the ghost that haunts you in this. And maybe it's the idea that you will feel you did not make the right decision. You did not challenge yourself to be the achiever you wanted to be. That you let somebody else take that fame or that glory, or you let somebody else make that decision. That's what will haunt you. And now we're moving to the Dark Truth and the Dark Sacrifice, which were from my previous reading, and I always used the Night Sun Tarot. So we're pulling 2 cards from that deck. The first is the Dark Truth. The Dark Truth represents this reality then that you now can really understand, or that you have to accept. The Dark Truth. and it's the Hierophant upright. The reality you will find you have to accept is that there is a sense of order here in all of this with what's going on with that change there, that ending of the moment of inspiration. You are being brought back perhaps to understand where your boundaries are. The Hierophant stands for the boundaries or limitations that reality, in this case, but certainly in most cases society or the forces of order, want us to adhere to. So this reality says, there's not much you can do here. You have to really just sort of understand it is part of the plan. It may be that the lesson is to not tip your hand or your hat too much, to not let others always know exactly what you're doing, some sort of sense of secrecy. But at any rate, we now move on to the dark sacrifice. And the dark sacrifice is that sorrow you bear, or that thing that you really should consider letting go of too. It's the devil upright. It's kind of like a contrary or anti-version of the Hierophant. So it's rather interesting. But I'm going to say that the devil upright as your dark sacrifice means there are certain things that bind you to non-spiritual elements in your life. And that if you're looking to find more divinity from the star, that is what you need to consider, to removing the things that bind you towards ego or desires that don't have a true gratification for you. They only lead you wanting more. That there's something deeper within that you're really hoping to find, and by giving up what the surface things are that maybe are confusing you, perhaps you can find them. So now I think this is going to be a fun part for the new reading, but I've decided to use my Vampire Tarot for the next pull. And this card represents the dark spiral. What sucks in your life? What drains you? How interesting. It rather coincides with the devil, in my opinion. But what sucks, what drains you, is what you wish for the most, or what you're hoping to achieve, the sense of material comfort that the Nine of Cups can provide, the love of pleasure, the love of things that make you feel happy. And it is talking more about sensual material pleasures, not necessarily something spiritual that you might love. So it does coincide more with the devil because of that. But this could be what's draining you, is that you are placing too much of an attachment on sensual material, hedonistic, self-gratification kind of pleasures, and you don't realize it. but it may be what's sucking energy away from you because it's giving you a focus that's taking you away maybe this is why you're being haunted by this, the King of Swords, because although I indicated some sort of sad things about him, the King of Swords really is a powerhouse when it comes to really reordering your life. And so I'm reconciling the suckage with the haunting and saying that what's draining you, this kind of love is sucking away vitality from you. But at the same time, there's this reminder coming through your experiences saying you have that ability to be willful and strong and make the right decisions with all these other things. So I realize I've kind of piled it on there, but there's one last card for us. And it's from what was the first card in the old reading, The Dark Gift, from the Crow's Magic Tarot. What is it that is your gift, your insight, your ability, and how can it help you through this? Your dark gift, the King of Coins. The dark gift. You have the ability to make money. You have the ability to be in charge of your own life in that material level, to make those partnerships or gains that you need to do, the associations, the wise decisions that are financial. And so maybe within all of this is the idea that you're letting yourself get out of touch with the real goals of getting to be the King of Coins. That sometimes you have to make a lot of sacrifices that you don't want to. You know, the idea of giving up all those things you really like. It's really hard. But I think this is what's it's saying for you in Goth Tarot, that this is what you need to do. Pull up your big goth pants and go out there and take the world. So that's what I have for you this week at Goth Tarot, and thanks for joining me. See you next time.